Okay, European Parliament votes to take action against loot boxes, gaming addiction, gold farming, and more. Commission will also set up a European video game strategy to grow industry and European Video Game Award. Okay, so what is this all about? The European Parliament voted today to adopt a report calling for the European Commission to address several issues in the games industry that it believes will better protect consumers, especially young people. Young people! Gacha, young people. Alright, that's a target audience for sure. The report was led by MEP Adriana Maldonado Lopez, secured 577 votes in favor, with 56 against and 15 abstentions. Ooh. So Lopez met more than a dozen recommendations in her report, including a call for harmonized rules across the European Union single market when providing clear information about games content, as well as systems that help parents understand and control how much time and money their children spend on games. So that means, okay, I get it. So here's the thing, right? Gacha game is very predatory in terms of they design it that there's a lot of currency. If you guys play gacha games, you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of currency. So I think they want the system, they want to fix the system. And they design it on purpose that way. So have you guys ever wondered why you don't use gacha? Why don't the money buy that thing directly? Because it's more confusing. So when your money buy the gems convert into the stones convert into energy, and then the energy used to buy that thing or gacha that thing is more confusing. You don't know how much you spent. The Pan-European Game Information PEGI age rating system was highlighted as an example of something that could deliver more transparent information about the content, target age group, and in-game purchase options to consumers. Used across 38 countries, PEGI ratings are currently a legal requirement in some markets, but not in others. MAPS also voted to have the Commission analyze the impact of loot boxes and prompts to make in-game purchases, taking action if necessary, as well as investigating whether gold farming can be linked to financial crimes and human rights abuses. Wow. Wait, what? Analyze the impact of loot boxes and investigate if gold farming can be linked to financial crimes. Gold farming, okay, I'm not sure. Gold farming, does it mean like when I see this term gold farming, in the first thing that occurs in my brain is like they're talking about MMORPGs that you can use bots to gold farm. I'm assuming it's that, but let's see what are they referring to. They also call for developers to avoid designing games that fit addiction, with Lopez citing the WHO's recognition of gaming disorder as an example of the state of addiction among some players. Other actions recommended including prioritizing data protection, improving the gender imbalance on the industry's workforce, making it as easy for consumers to cancel a subscription as it is to sign up. Gacha is gambling, but instead of money, to get big booba. True. Excuse me. The European Parliament also recognized the value of video game sector, as well as its potential to help with education, mental health, and other aspects of life. True. When you get gacha waifu, it helps with your mental health. You feel healthier. So it's as though you have a girlfriend, but you don't have a girlfriend. So you get what I'm saying? So it's like it's a good thing. Consumer protection in online video games, a European signal market approach. The European Commission was asked age ratings and information. So to access how the PEGI system is being implemented in the different types of games, okay, to consider enshrining the EU law, okay, mandatory age rating system for all games. Cannot be 12 plus, must be 18 plus if you're Nikkei. To support the promotion of public and private education. Campaigns directed at parents and caretakers to inform them of the tools in place. To introduce common labels for information such as the recommended minimum age, a game's theme, in-game purchasing options, presence of pop-up advertising, and more. So consumer protection. So how are they going to approach this? Develop a common European identification verification system to help check the age of players. Damn! Now there's a verification system. Just like China. Wow. Before you play your game, if you're from EU, you need to check your age. Like from China. You got to give your ID number. Wow. Kids! Destroyed, kids! Any kids here? Playing from EU? Destroyed. No more Nikkei for you. No more Nikkei for you. VPN, not enough. Wait, you can't VPN then. You need to EU. You need to... How do you do that then? You can't VPN because the game itself needs... That's even worse, I think. Can you bypass VPN, bypass this? Think about it, right? Let's say you install a game like Nikkei that's not available in EU or certain countries in EU. Then they will ask to check, they ask the system to check, and then the system said, oh, this game is not from this country. You cannot. Then I don't know how it works. Do you have to, maybe the VPN has to be turned on permanently. Somehow I feel relieved that I'm above 18 years old. You just need to download the APK. Yeah, but I don't know what does it mean by the verification system though? Is this on the Google Play? Is this before you launch the game? How does this work? It doesn't make sense if you can just bypass using APK. The games need to make an EU version separately, like CN version. I want to play Nikkei is really wholesome. Develop minimum standards on privacy preservation to collect EU-wide data on the average time spent playing games. Ooh, the government wants to collect information about you, just like China. Just like China. So they want to collect information for young kids playing Nikkei or any games, average in-game spending, social-physiological effects, present a yearly report to Parliament on it. So the entire reason is to collect information on how much booba waifu games you guys played. I like it. I like it. This is pretty cool. This will be good for companies, so people asking for refunds can't blame on the kids. Damn. To access the possibility of requiring providers of online games targeting minors to develop child impact assessments. To adopt, if needed, regulatory measures on games that allows players to create their own content in order to protect users, especially minors, from illegal practices. Ooh. This is a lot of things. Okay, let's read the monetization. To assess whether the current consumer law framework is sufficient to address all issues raised by loot boxes and in-game purchases, if not, to adopt the current framework for online games or to propose standalone legislation. To analyze the way in which loot boxes are sold, take necessary steps to bring about a common European approach on loot boxes to protect consumers, in particular minors. To access the use of gold farming in connection with financial crimes and human rights abuses, and to prevent appropriate initiatives if necessary. To put an end to illegal practices allowing anyone to exchange, sell, or bet on in-game and third-party sites for skin betting. To ensure traders provide users with an opt-in proposal and purchase for subscriptions, as well as with clear and easily accessible information on how to cancel auto-renewals at any time. Okay, let's see what people have to say. Let's see what's the response. Verify identity? That's rough. All they have to do is increase the age rating. I don't get what's so hard to understand. Because no one lies about their age online ever. The mark of 18 plus alone will absolutely kill revenue and will massively discourage adding gacha to games in the first place. You can't lie your identity cards information. RIP EU servers. Gold farming as in the in-game currency farming, like how most MMO players did as a free-to-play to get premium currency item or money from whales. I imagine it's about RMT. What is RMT? Real money trading. You basically sell your in-game goods for real cash. Ah, that makes sense. Some games like MMO has that, right? I feel like these regulations are particularly targeting loot boxes and not really gacha purchases or similar things. Isn't loot boxes gacha purchases anyways? Financial crimes and human rights abuses are not taxed properly. Correction is needed. It's a good step for consumers, but I doubt anything will change. I don't understand why people are too hopeful over this. Like right now, Belgium already banned loot box and gacha games. What did the developer do? Just not publish their game there. Let's say EU and NA countries go through with this plan. The most likely scenario is the developer will just do the same to other countries who ban their game. Sure, losing global market will hurt, but the Asian market, Japan, Korea, China, is still big enough for the developers to get their money. Games like Uma Musume is one of the most profitable gacha games, while their income is 90% from Japan. If anyone expecting the developer will be like, oh man, we can't make gacha games anymore, guess we'll make standard $60 games from now on, then I have a bridge to sell you. I don't think this guy understands the issue here. People are not upset because the developers is not making any more money. People are upset because if they live in EU, now they don't have access to gacha games anymore. I think he's looking from a perspective. He's looking for a very different perspective. Like that's Why would he what? Why would he assume that people are worried about gacha games? Oh, no more developers are not going to make gacha games anymore. What? That's not the first thing that I look at. That's crazy. How am I supposed to live? Like for me, when I read this, it doesn't impact me. I'm not from EU as well, right? But I feel bad for some people that's from EU. Like some of you guys are actually from EU. This might affect you guys. I don't know how, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that's going to be something that will affect it. Is one extra hole filled with predatory gaming? Perfect solutions do not exist. If you plug up a few holes here and there, plug up a few more holes in the future, it will be better than if nothing was done at all. You don't care about EU? Banning sus, but I'm all good for better regulations. You still have VPNs? I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. You can always use VPN, but I think VPN will be harder for other players. Perfect solution do exist in the form of not spending and becoming smart consumer. It's not that easy to resist the temptation of that sweet dopamine rush, but sometimes you people don't even try. Put your credit cards away when playing. Talk to your family or friends to keep track of your spending. Always remember that at 10 pool, you can buy games like Hollow Knight. Ooh! Hollow Knight fan! Hollow Knight fan. Government in my country aren't even doing their basic jobs well. Video games are the bottom of their list. Better take care of myself than expecting anything of them. Ooh, minus 14 though. Minus 14. I'm from EU and I think I will leave my country. Best game, Hollow Knight. You can just spend small amounts of money and still enjoy the game. The problem is a lot of people just enjoy the gacha part of the game just because the enjoyment rolling the dice of RNG. And again, if you have addiction problem, don't have disposable income, can't manage your own income, don't play these kind of games, that's true, you should always think carefully. Or you can still play the game as a free to play. Just play with some responsibility. Most games nowadays have monthly that cost $5 to $10, and that's the best value of the time. I don't understand how this whole thing of all people pretending like every games have gacha or loot boxes, except they don't. There are so many good games that cost $10 to $20 without loot box or gacha, with arguably better gameplay loop. And I didn't talk about Steam. Those games are on Google Play. Why people don't play them? Those ain't free, unlike gacha. Those ain't free, unlike gacha. Yeah, because those aren't free, unlike gacha, you have to buy those games. Most people won't play those games. So people run to gacha games because it's free, then piss because it's predatory. No shit is free to play, is always either predatory or play to win. I'ma be a little controversy here. If you have gambling addiction, don't go to a casino. This reminds me of NFT. I sympathize with people who get scammed in those early days. But if you got scammed nowadays, you know what you're doing, dog. If this is when Genshin launched, I will be more understanding, to be honest. If you're playing gacha game nowadays, you know what you get yourself into. You know what you're good doing. Get a hold of yourself. Damn, Genshin! Ooh. Any more Genshin fans? Games that cost $10 to $20 don't have assets. They think it's the kids who spend the money, but it's the old spending their kids' money on gachas. Most probably true. Most probably true. My game catalog is mainly PC games from Steam. Gacha game is side thing when I play in cafe, when hang out with my friend, or play 30 minutes back to daily life. Wow, 30 minutes and back to daily life. Can you even do dailies in 30 minutes, guys? Wow, my problem is people not try to enjoy the story, the gameplay mechanic. Just enjoy the flow of the game, and if you like it, spend small amount of your money for monthly, or just be patient and play as a free-to-play player. Yeah, that's true. I feel like most of it has to be like that. I remember AMA with some Harvard certified psychiatrist. What's the difference between people who play a lot for fun and addiction? He said, one of my friends makes 7 digits and plays 40 hours a week. One of my patients plays 60 hours a week and lives in his mother's basement. In the end, addiction is fine if you can pay for it. Lol, like an Asian parent once said, don't get a drug addiction. Why is bad? No, we're not rich enough for that. Huh? So addiction is fine. Every essay has to mention Genshin. Blaming the consumers and not unregulated industry, how smart. Did people even read my comment? It's called living in the real world. Sometimes something is out of your control. This whole regulated gaming is a fantasy world people dream of because they don't even try to control themselves. Smoke and drugs exist. Casino and slot machine are everywhere. Teenagers still fall for all of them despite all the regulation. Government won't do jack to video games for a long time. Download me all you want if it makes you feel better, and be sure to tag me with this regulated gaming finally came to be. All I'm saying is learn some self-control when it's all we can do now. Self-control is easy for adults but not for kids, and that's what they're trying to protect, I guess. But yeah, we'll see. Just make the global host in C country, then market it as a global server. You circumvent the law but still get hardcore player to play. True. The main concern here will be implementation, especially the identity verification part. Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to implement that. I'm actually not sure how they're going to implement that. If you're from EU, you need to put your ID card before you can play a game. That will kill the game for sure, right? Like you can use VPN for sure, right? But I think like majority of players or majority of consumers don't want to use VPN just to play a game. Most people go to the Google Play. If the game is not there, they won't even bother to download the APK, right? They won't even bother to go to the extra hoops. It probably won't fix the problem entirely, but it makes it way harder, right? It makes it way harder. Should I stop my addiction to buy the 99 cents pack from Nikkei and start buying drugs? What? Why are you buying drugs? Use your parents? No, this one you have to put your own identity though. Can you use your parents' identity? I'm not sure how it works. Like same like the China one, right? The China one you cannot use your parents' identity. You have to use your own identity. Are you saying that it won't be as strict as the China one? Are you aware that China restricts the children to only play games for like a few hours a day? I forgot, is it 2 hours or 1 hour? Something along those lines. Or is it like you can only play it on weekend? Something along those lines. And how they do that is they implement something that you have to put your face ID or whatever ID. And I'm not sure if EU will do something similar, right? China, you still circumventing those restrictions too? Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, obviously there are some anomaly, right? But we don't talk about the anomaly. Like I said, there's no point to talk about the anomaly because there's always people that want to break the rule. But it's just about stopping the masses. Maybe you should read the article first. This is not a good thing because they require you to verify your real identity just like in China, or if you want to register for a bank. To develop a common European identity verification system to help check the age of players from the article. I mean, what do you expect when people ask for regulations? First thing the government is gonna do is ask for identification. That's a standard practice for any regulation. Just like when you go to a bar or casino. Yeah, that's how you do it, right? I don't know how they're gonna do it if you don't ask for identification. The only way for them to do it, to implement this, is to ask for some sort of ID. Yeah, that's going to be something that's like very interesting to see, right? Private companies shouldn't have access to your ID. It's already bad enough when your phone number gets leaked by a hacker and you get a bunch of messages and calls from scammers. Imagine them now with your ID, we are screwed. Damn. That depends entirely on how such an European ID will be implemented. There are tons of ways whereby an ID could be given freely to a third party without being any P2 being a concern. Like, it's just, I get that this law is supposed to protect them. I don't know, man. I feel like it's doing more harm than good in my eyes, right? As someone that actually enjoy games, I feel like you should leave this up to the parents. The parents should let the parents control their kids and how the kids want to spend their money, right? I'm not sure. Yeah, it really depends. Is there an actual way of regulating games without identification? I'm not entirely sure.